Well, hello everybody. This is Dr. Novak again. Hope everything's doing fine. Uh, I like doing videos where it shows people new things that other people have kind of, what can I say, dissed in saying that, oh, it's no good, it's this, it's that, and they become an authoritative figure on something that they hurry up and preach about, whether it's on a forum or maybe a video. But I have that plant that I bought off of Amazon, and there was some comments made about the plant. It was garbage and whatever. Yeah, that's okay. But I just want to show you some of the filmage and pictures that I took of the plant. And as you're looking at these pictures, you'll notice little purple flowers growing from the plant. Something that never anyone brought up. When I got the plant and I did a video on it and how I grew the seeds and everything, a lot of comments were made about the plant and that it wasn't a good plant, it's no good, dies within a year. But the plant's done very well in my aquarium. It's done so well, in fact, that it's flowering. Like all plants, has a little purple bell flower. And I think that's pretty neat. Now, no one ever said, oh, by the way, if you have this plant under the right conditions, it will grow, and it will grow out of the water, but it will also flower for you. And here it is in December, and the plant is flowering. Underneath, now we have to remember, not underneath expensive lighting that you buy from a manufacturer, from just cheap off-the-shelf lighting that you buy at like Lowe's hardware store. The GE Bright Light, which I use on all my aquariums, because it seems like the GE Bright Light does good, and it doesn't seem to be a promoter of algae for me. It didn't seem to hold back the algae too much on the Lanai aquarium, especially when I was using sand. But that could be because of the fish load, and the heavy feeding. Probably would have been a different story if I only fed them once a day, or maybe like other hobbies do, feed every 2 or 3 days. You know, you feed them once because you're so scared of your tank's going to get covered with algae. But other than the Lanai aquarium, all my aquariums run with that inexpensive GE light that you can buy at any hardware store. Not only did this plant that I bought off of Amazon, which I did my video off of, but now it's flowering. Well, it took a while to flower, so I can see where, oh, this plant's got to be what, 8, 9 months old. Maybe the plant has to grow, develop, age, let it grow out of the tank. So I guess if you had a lid to the tank, you couldn't let the plant grow out of the water, because apparently that's what it does. It needs to flower like a lot of your plants do, where sometimes they can flower inside the aquarium, but a lot of plants have to literally grow their flowers outside of the aquarium, you know, so they could propagate and be exposed to the insects and stuff. But I thought it was very interesting that in a house with this cheap, inexpensive lighting that I use on all my aquariums, you know, that the plant is now flowering little purple flowers. It's kind of neat because it's part of the hobby. I guess things that you don't think about. All these people grow all these plants using CO2 and everything else, and convincing everybody that, you know, showing you very expensive lighting, which costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars for one light, which I've done a video on, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I think in my video, I did make mention that we have to remember that when a lot of these lights were made, no matter who the manufacturer is, whether it's Kesso or Fluval or any, when a lot of these lights were made, the LEDs weren't as widespread as they are today, where manufacturers were making LEDs by the billions. And that happened with China because LEDs, the most popular LED I remember, and maybe you can remember, was red, and then came blue. Those were probably the two most popular of LEDs. And if we remember that if you bought a light bulb, a lot of light bulbs that you bought off the shelf didn't make really very good aquarium lights. And I did find some like bright lights from GE. Some of them didn't make good aquarium lights because they had a bluish tint to them, and I didn't like them in the aquarium. You know, I don't like that bluish color. But when these bright lights came out from GE, which I showed you in my video, it became a game changer. And that's why I went with the pendant lights versus strip lights, only because the expense was, well, phenomenally a lot less. Instead of spending $200 on a light, you can, or $175 or $150 or $250 on one light. You know, you could pick up a light and a light bulb and find some kind of gooseneck arm, and for, it's probably going to still run you about $100 or so to, you know, get the light going. But the good thing of it is if it burns out, you just buy a new light bulb at the hardware store and screw it in. But I thought I would do this little video just to show people that what the capability of the lights are. Not only are they capable of growing the plants, which the plants are grown just fine, but they're very capable of having a plant that a lot of people didn't know much about. And some people, what can I say, kind of badmouth the plant. You know, oh, that's a no good plant. It's not going to last. Doesn't do anything. You know, that's garbage. Some people may comment, oh, you can never release that plant in the wild. I mean, you get everybody with their negative comments about something because they weren't successful with what they had, because maybe they didn't know what they were doing. You know, could we possibly think that way? We're here. I put it in my tank. It's growing just fine, flowering. Hey, what more could you ask? It's part of the hobby, besides having plants and fish, but it's neat to see plants flower. I think that's just part of the hobby. And a lot of people just say, oh, it's garbage. They don't even try it, but it's garbage. They know nothing about it, but it's garbage. And I think as hobbyists, we need to realize to take things with a grain of salt, that maybe these people don't know as much as they know. That sometimes you just have to go off an instinct of your own and say, hey, this isn't making a lot of sense what they're saying. It's not making a lot of sense at all. Maybe I need to listen to somebody who does talk a little bit of sense and really is trying to help the hobbyist with, you know, more logical information. So when we do buy something, we can have fun with it. And that's the whole point of this hobby, that we have fun doing it and enjoy it. And, you know, I'm very happy that I get to see this plant flower. Now you get to see it flower. Very, very, apparently no one has made mention that. They say, oh, I'm sure after this video that everyone's going to mention, oh, yeah. It flowered from, why didn't you bring it up if it flowered for you? You know, all of a sudden you're going to get the experts that are going to come out and say, oh, yeah, it flowered for me. Yeah, well, where's your pictures? You know, do you have pictures like I do in your tank, how it flowered? But see, nobody ever said that. But I bet you watch, you'll come up with the experts now say, oh, yeah, it flowered for me too. Yeah, okay, where's your pictures? Let's see them. How come you didn't make mention of it, 9 months ago when I bought the plant?" And everybody kind of beat it up. Anyhow, it's just a seed you get off of Amazon. You put it in your aquarium. I still have it in my antique aquarium, and all the people said, "Oh, it grows big and huge." It's about that big. 9 months later, still a little bitty plant. So I guess it depends on how you grow it. I guess the plant will grow in different ways depending on water conditions and depending on what kind of soil it's in. I guess it does grow short. So the manufacturer, it almost looks like a baby tear, but it's a little bit bigger. It's only about that big in my antique aquarium, which I've shown you pictures of. So it does grow in different stages, and the antique aquarium, like I said, it's over 9 months old too, just as old as this. I think I start the antique aquarium no more than 2 weeks later than I started the 90-gallon. Yet in the antique aquarium, nothing is growing huge compared to it did in the 90-gallon. Why? So it really is a very neat plant. To me, it's well worth the money just to experiment with it to see what it can do for you. But I'm just telling you the truth. In one aquarium, it's growing very small, tiny. Other aquarium, it's growing big and flowering. So go figure. But anyhow, I just thought I would show you because this is something that maybe you'll never see again in the rest of your life. And maybe 20 years, you'll say, "Hey, remember that rare plant that actually flowered these little purple bell-looking flowers in the aquarium? Whatever happened to that plant?" Right? Because, that it's like that in the hobby. Have something a little different, unusual, and that's what makes the hobby fun. It stops it from being boring. So, until next time, this is Dr. Novak. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I got a real good video coming up. Got a real good video. I got a guy from, I think he's from Quebec, Canada, and he took tons of pictures of him setting up his aquarium with a plenum. He came up with some good ideas, which I'm going to show you. He uses CO2, but he uses a natural system of putting CO2 in this aquarium. He bought a kit, and it looks pretty nice. I know other people sell natural systems. I think F-Zone sells a natural CO2 system that you can use for your aquarium, but that's what he's using. And he did some things different. So you really, if you subscribe, then you'll be up on it when I do the video so you can see what he's using. In fact, one thing he's using for the plenum, I bought it. I thought, oh, wow, yeah, I'm going to try it out. What the heck? And the reason he bought the special item is because he didn't want bubblers. He doesn't want the bubbly noise. He wants things to be quiet. I thought, okay, how do you do that? Or what can you buy to substitute the, bubbler? Well, in my next video, I'm going to show you what he did. And when I get one myself, I ordered it. Not very expensive. I think I spent 29 bucks on it. I'll show you. And then I'll do it myself to see how it works out. But it looks like it's a great idea. It really does. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because then you can put your notifications so you can be notified when I come up with these videos, because this is something, my next video that I'm going to show you about this guy in Quebec. He's going to show you some things that I didn't even know you could buy. All of a sudden he said, "Hey, I bought this because I didn't want to have the bubble noise. And I set up my aquarium this way. And it's great. And I'm going to take you step by step. He took pictures of every step we took. So in case you want to do it and copy it, you can. So until next time, happy fish keeping.